Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the most bizarre and intriguing historical facts. From Roman emperors who loved their horses a little too much to medieval pigs facing trial, we're uncovering the weird side of history. So buckle up because things are about to get interesting. Get ready to be amazed.
Gaius Caligula, the Roman emperor, was known for his eccentricities. But appointing his horse Incitatus as a priest? That's next level. Some say it was satire, a commentary on Roman politics. Either way, it makes for one wild historical fact.
Napoleon's military campaigns, but did you know he was once defeated by rabbits? During a hunting trip, hundreds of bunnies swarmed the emperor, overwhelming his party.
Wars are usually fought over land, resources, or power. But in 1325, Modena and Bologna fought for 12 years over a bucket. Yes, a simple wooden bucket sparked a war. Truth is stranger than fiction.
In ancient Egypt, cats weren't just pets, they were revered. So much so that when a beloved cat died, its owners would shave off their eyebrows in mourning, showing their deep respect and sorrow.
Peter the Great modernized Russia by taxing beards. Pay up or face the razor. Albert Einstein, the brilliant mind behind the theory of relativity, was offered Israel's presidency in 1952. He declined, believing he was better suited to solving equations than political crises.
Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than to the Great Pyramid's construction.
During World War II, tea was crucial to British morale. Soldiers received tea rationing kits. Never underestimate the power of a good brew, especially in times of war. The war of currents between Thomas Edison, DC, and Nikola Tesla, AC, was fierce. To prove AC's dangers, Edison electrocuted an elephant named Topsy in 1903, shocking the world.
King Charles VI of France suffered from a delusion that he was made of glass. He even wore padded clothing, fearing he'd shatter into pieces. Headache? Indigestion? In Victorian England, doctors prescribed leeches for everything. Imagine having one of the worst jobs in history, a gong farmer. These brave souls collected waste from cesspits in medieval cities. Not glamorous, but essential for public health.
Want pearly whites? The ancient Romans had a rather unusual ingredient for their toothpaste: powdered mouse brains. Can you believe it?
In 1807, Napoleon and Tsar Alexander I signed the Treaty of Tilsit, not in a grand palace, but on a raft floating on the Niemen River, a unique setting for diplomacy. The British military during World War II had creative ideas, like using exploding rats to sabotage the enemy. The plan involved stuffing dead rats with explosives. It never came to fruition.
In the 13th century, Pope Gregory IX declared that cats were associated with the devil, leading to mass killings of these innocent furry creatures across Europe. Imagine a plague, not of disease, but of dance. In 1518, Strasbourg was hit by a dancing plague where people danced for days, some even to their deaths. Pope Stephen VI despised his predecessor, Pope Formosus. He exhumed Formosus's corpse, dressed it in papal robes, put it on trial, found it guilty, and mutilated it.
The ancient Persians had a unique decision-making approach. They'd debate issues twice, once sober, once drunk, believing both perspectives were valuable.
In the 17th century, tulips in the Netherlands became so valuable that their bulbs were worth more than gold. Public executions were a form of entertainment in 18th century France. People gathered in town squares to watch the guillotine fall.
The ancient Greeks, known for their significant contributions to medicine, believed spider webs had healing properties. They used them as bandages to help stop bleeding and heal wounds effectively.
In the early 20th century, radium was all the rage. People believed radium water had miraculous health benefits and could cure many ailments.
Nero was infamous for his cruelty and eccentricities.
John Cleves Sims Jr. believed the Earth was hollow with openings at the poles leading to an inner world. He even tried to get funding for an expedition to explore it.
Believe it or not, animals could be put on trial in medieval Europe. Animals accused of crimes like murder or theft were given lawyers and put through legal proceedings, just like humans.
In 1811, a powerful earthquake struck the New Madrid fault line, reversing the Mississippi River's flow.
Here's a surprising origin story: the vibrator. In the 19th century, doctors believed hysteria in women could be treated with pelvic massages. This led to the invention of the vibrator, initially marketed as a medical device for treatment.
Queen Victoria, the longest reigning British monarch, survived 7 assassination attempts. Talk about resilience. For centuries in China, foot binding broke and tightly bound young girls' feet to make them small and pointed. This painful practice was seen as a mark of beauty and status.
In 1386, a pig accused of attacking a child was put on trial in France. The pig was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging, a common medieval punishment for crimes. Vlad the Impaler, the ruler of Wallachia, was known for his brutal methods of dealing with enemies. His extreme cruelty inspired the legendary vampire Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's famous novel. In 18th century Paris, cats were blamed for spreading disease and causing various other problems. This led to a mass extermination of cats throughout the city, changing its history.
Catherine the Great of Russia was known for her lavish displays of wealth and power. During one winter festival, she had her portrait painted on ice. In the mid-20th century, lobotomy, a procedure severing connections in the prefrontal cortex, was used to treat mental illness.
In 1932, Australia declared war on emus. The large, flightless birds were wreaking havoc on crops. Armed soldiers with machine guns were deployed, but the emus were elusive.
In the Victorian era, post-mortem photography was a common practice. Deceased loved ones were dressed in their finest clothes and posed for portraits, often alongside their living family members. This tradition helped families preserve the memory of their departed.
The Aztecs played Tlactli, a game with deadly stakes. Losing and sometimes winning meant sacrifice to the gods.
Countess Elizabeth Bathory, a Hungarian noblewoman, is remembered as one of the most prolific female serial killers in history. Legend has it that she bathed in the blood of her victims, believing it would keep her eternally young and beautiful.
Contrary to popular belief, George Washington's dentures weren't made of wood. They were actually crafted from a combination of ivory, gold, lead, and yes, even human and animal teeth. Fascinating, isn't it? In the 1800s, dentures were often made from the teeth of dead soldiers, especially those who died in battle.
For centuries, Europeans believed consuming powdered mummies had medicinal benefits. This practice persisted into the 18th century.
In 1923, jockey Frank Hayes suffered a fatal heart attack mid-race. He remained in the saddle as his horse, Sweet Kiss, crossed the finish line, making him the only jockey to win a race while dead. During the Renaissance, pale skin was all the rage. To achieve this look, women used arsenic-based makeup, which, while effective in lightening skin, also slowly poisoned them over time.
The ancient Romans were known for their love of cosmetics, often using crushed beetles for vibrant red lipstick and other makeup.
In 1822, French chef Bechamel, known for his sauce, died while inventing a dessert from hot air. He was suffocated by his own invention. In the 19th century, grave robbing was a serious problem. To deter body snatchers, people invented coffin torpedoes and other devices.
During World War II, the US military explored unusual weapon ideas, including bat bombs. The plan involved attaching incendiary devices to bats and releasing them over Japan. The project was scrapped.
The shortest war in history was the Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896. It lasted 38 minutes.
In 1928, the mayor of a small town in Hungary issued an arrest warrant for the wind itself.
Thanks for joining me on this whirlwind tour of historical weirdness. From emperors who loved their horses to wars fought over buckets and the shortest war ever, history is anything but boring. If you enjoyed these bizarre historical facts, like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you next time on Factomania.